live. Welcome to the Vegas Benchwarmers. My name is Eric. He hate me 702. This is,
Jeremy with a G.
and pretty soon, Coach Womack Vince. He'll be joining us. He's running a little late on a little late behind. So a couple things. Excuse me. Got to clear my throat. Hold on. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, as you can see my shirt, I don't think we need to say anything else. Most likely we'll have a video coming out in the next couple days on our thoughts on it. We'll see how that works. First things up. Julian Edelman retired. He is out of here. He has failed the physical for the Patriots, and now he's retiring. And rumor has it that he's looking to retire someplace.
He's gonna end up in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's gonna go in Tampa. I'm just saying, and go retire in Florida near Tampa for very, very limited money, due to the fact that he doesn't care, and that's the reason why they did not sign Antonio Brown. Re-sign him. Tom called Julian and said, "Hey, you ain't done enough to make the Hall of Fame. Come on down. Get one more ring and they can't deny you. Get one more ring and they can't deny you." That's what he said. So you think he's going to end up in Tampa too?
Yeah, I think his retirement's going to be short-lived. And he's going to end up down there with Brady, even though he's barely an above-average wide receiver. But maybe he'll go down there to, like we talked earlier, maybe he'll go down there to mentor Scotty Miller.
Yeah. I'm not going to call it a retirement. I refuse to say he fucking retired. I'm sorry. He did not retire. What's up, buddy?
Yo,
What's up,
mini
Coach?
thing, yo. What's going on?
Good. We just got started. We just got into it, talking about Julian Edelman's pause.
Okay.
I refuse to call it a retirement because it's a pause on his career until roughly week 1, where he suits up with Tampa Bay.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Because you know how veterans don't want to go to training camp.
Oh,
so
they don't want to go to training camp.
He's gonna hold out. He's gonna chill. He's gonna train, and then like you said, in the summertime he's gonna hop back in about August. But I don't think it was a retirement. I don't think, like I said, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it either.
It's not a retirement to me. I refuse. I'm not calling it a retirement. I'm done calling it a retirement. I call it a pause.
So question: do you think they don't re-sign AB now? And who do you think Tom Brady would prefer? Because he likes both of those dudes. It seems like. So, like, who do you think he'd rather have? Do you think he'd rather have Edelman, or do you think he'd rather have AB? Because they're kind of the same guy.
I mean, if Brady has any brains, he'll take AB. Because
Right.
he's a better receiver than the barely above average Edelman.
Okay. True story.
I see where you go.
True story. Facts. You were speaking facts right there, Jeremy.
Right.
But my counter to that is Tom Brady loves Julian Edelman. Not just on the field, off the field as well.
Facts.
Like, that is his really close friend. And Edelman, just watch what happened with Gronk. Like, we're going to find out in the next couple years when Gronk writes his tell-all book that he didn't even go to practice when he played for Tampa. They didn't even make him practice. He just showed up and went to work. Like, that's what they said. They said, don't even worry about it. You just show up, run the plays, and we're good. Your body is good. So that is... Okay, good, I'm recording. That is my opinion what he's gonna do. He's not. It's like in wrestling. It's a fake retirement. Like, it's like when they come out and they cry and they go like Mark Henry, oh my God, and then they go, psych, I got one more match in me.
Right. You know what I thought it was, and honestly, I thought that the timing was weird because I got a notification on ESPN that the Patriots weren't re-signing him due to a failed physical.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, right after that, overshadowing the failed physical, I'm announcing my retirement. So it really sounds like it's more of a ploy to kind of hide the fact that he's still not 100% right now. You know what I mean? It just seems like the way that they word it. It's not like you got fired. It's like your job saying, "Hey man, we're gonna fire you," but then you're like, "Oh well, it's all good because I already got another job anyway." You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like I didn't really get fired because I still know I got work, and that's kind of what I took from it. It wasn't really like he was getting fired. It was just, you know what I'm saying? But the writing was on the wall that he was going to leave New England anyway. I don't think that it had to do with the failed physical so much. That's just kind of how they can spin it. But I feel like that just kind of saves the face for him more so than like, hey, bro, we don't want you no more, you know, versus that. Because it seems like the Patriots are going in a whole new direction. It seems like they're getting, you know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to get in a whole new era, new direction. So that's kind of what I'm thinking from them. And then, you know what I'm saying? They don't like to burn somebody's career. So they're going to be like, hey, we'll, you know, not pick it up due to this. But realistically, they knew they didn't want him a part of their team is what I'm thinking. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Hey, Eric,
I know. I already got it. For the YouTube. I got it.
Okay.
So, look, wait, what was I going to say? He was cut. They didn't he wasn't.
No, he was cut. It was cut because of a failed physical.
So when you get cut, you have to clear waivers.
Yes. So
that was my point. Like it wasn't. They cut him, and the thing that responded with the tweet was shot knees.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the retirement, and I was like,
yeah, it's a little fishy.
Motherfucker. We just saw what Gronk did. He retired and went and wrestled.
Right.
And then came back. So yeah, I think Tom Brady called him and basically said, look, you ain't getting in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You ain't getting in the Hall of Fame. You need one more ring.
Pull up.
Come help me tutor Scotty Miller.
Right.
I
he's
don't think
definitely not.
It's
even
a pause.
with one more ring, he's not getting in the Hall of Fame.
Look, listen, I have been in fucking Twitter battles all damn
right.
day. Okay?
And it's funny because here's how I'm going to put it. People that didn't watch football before 2000 and let's say 3, probably everyone that started watching football after 2003 thinks he's a Hall of Famer. And that's kind of how my perspective has been. I've seen a lot of young kids, a lot of high school kids like, oh, first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you just started
you're not live
football.
anymore.
I know. I'm waiting for it to reset. I got it recording, so I'll just load it up immediately afterwards.
Right.
So,
but you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I was like, it's a little interesting in those regards.
So, I've seen he's a Hall of Famer because of his MVP and basically the two stats. Postseason yards and postseason receptions. He is second in postseason yards and he is second in postseason receptions, or like third, something like that, right?
Right.
His stats, regular stats, don't hold up at all.
No.
6,800 yards. 68 and like 2,200 yards, 37 touchdowns. For everybody
it's not enough.
That will be watching this, to put that in perspective, Tyreek Hill has 5,800 yards and 47 touchdowns in 5 seasons.
Right.
But talking to Heath, who's a diehard Patriots fan, he doesn't think he's a Hall of Famer. But he made a very good point, because I also bring up, which I'm sure he's going to talk about, Cliff Branch, how he's not in the Hall of Fame, and his numbers are better than fucking Edelman, and he has three or four Super Bowl rings.
Right.
Three, yeah. 3. And but then you look at Lynn Swann. Lynn Swann is in the Hall of Fame, has less career yards than Edelman, and 11 more touchdowns.
Right.
So, like, is he a Hall of Famer to me? Fuck no.
No.
But I can't argue when people go, well, then what's Lynn Swann in? Because we know why Lynn Swann's in. He's in because he was a very good receiver, but he was also part of one of the 70s teams with the Steelers, with Franco Harris, the story, the 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, all of that stuff.
Listen, I'm just going to say it, like, he played with one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, right?
Facts.
So, like in my opinion, he should have had bet like it should have been better. If his stats were better, then it'd be clear. Like I don't know. I just feel like his postseason stats. That's one thing, but realistically, like we can't count that because how many guys didn't have a good enough quarterback to get him there? Like you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of dudes who couldn't even get to the postseason because their teams were shitty, their quarterbacks are shitty, but they still end up putting up better numbers than him. If you look at it like that, so that's what I mean. Like so I hear the postseason argument, but in my opinion, bro, there's no way, no way. And people like to talk about his story, and that doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame.
But it does in certain aspects, like Terrell Davis, 7 years as a running back, a short career. He's in the Hall of Fame,
right?
And that's because of John Elway at the last 2 Super Bowls before he retired. That story of John Elway getting a running back propelled Terrell Davis to the Hall of Fame. The MVP in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't get this twisted. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer what fucking ever. I don't think there's any way he should be in the Hall of Famer. I think a reason why he has the most postseason receiving yards is because you were in the league for 11 years. And for 10 of those motherfuckers...
You're on the same team with the
not
really
even on the same team. For 9 of them, you were in the championship or the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, there was one season in that 10-year span that they got knocked out in the first round. They literally were either in the Super Bowl or in the championship every single game.
Right. So then that's what you got to look at too. Like his stats, his postseason stats should be better because he played a lot more postseason games than like Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt, dudes like that. So that was who I was comparing his numbers to. Like I saw a stat that was like Torrey Holt's not in the Hall of Fame, and they put the numbers up side by side, and he blows Edelman out of the water.
Oh, there's tons of them.
I think every single category. Same thing with like Isaac Bruce was another one. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like if you would have put those dudes on that amount of stability for that amount of time, it would have been crazy.
We saw what happened when he had a real wide receiver. We saw that with Randy Moss. They broke fucking records.
Right.
Granted, they lost to Eli. He's a totally other reason because that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
That doesn't count.
But we saw what happened. They went 17. They went 17-0.
Right. Exactly.
So we saw.
So and then like you think about, he had the most stability. He had great stability, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him. He's a great player. He was a quarterback, so he does have a great story.
Yeah.
But like he had a lot of stability. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback.
A Hall of Fame coach.
Right. So it's like Hall of Fame organization, Hall of Fame owner. So.
And also, let's just not even throw out the fact that who the fuck is another receiver he played with?
Right. And if you put Bro on the Lions. If you put him on the Lions for like, you know what I'm saying? You put him with Megatron. Like if you swap them two, you know what I'm saying? You put Megatron on the Pats and you put Edelman on the Lions.
Wait.
Like
we don't even gotta swap them two. We can swap him with an average ass receiver because that's what he is. He's 37 touchdowns in a career for 10 years. I'm not even gonna count last year because he was injured most of the time.
With the GOAT, that doesn't count.
But like, let's be. That's like 3 1,000-yard seasons.
Right.
Like.
That ain't enough, bro. Would you play for the Ravens or what?
Like, you could literally take, like when I said there are receivers that have 19, 18, 17, 20, 22 touchdowns.
Right.
And he has, there are running backs that have 31 touchdowns in a season. And this motherfucker has 37.
Right.
Stop.
In that scheme, in that system, there's absolutely no way.
No,
and that's what I mean. Like he's definitely Patriots Ring of Honor.
Of course.
Sure.
He made a catch, one of the all-time catches. My problem with
I don't even think that they do that in New England. Like I don't think they even do any kind of like. Yeah, I don't think they.
My biggest problem with the Hall of Fame, and like I say this again, where you can have an argument both ways, because of the fact that if they put people in that have trash numbers, and because they have rings, and this guy has rings. And he has a Super Bowl MVP. Like
you can't.
But the problem that you have is they should wait. There should be a longer than a 5-year restriction.
Right, I agree.
They should make that shit longer because like we talked about this earlier. In 10 years, Marino still would have made it in the Hall of Fame. 20 years, he still would have made it in the Hall of Fame. In 20 to 30 years, I don't know if Drew Brees makes it in the Hall of Fame. Just based off of numbers. Like I'm not talking shit, but I told him if Patrick Mahomes plays for 15 more seasons and isn't healthy, he's breaking every fucking record. Just based off of who he is right now. You'll have multiple. Josh Allen. Josh Allen will start
Right.
breaking a lot of fucking records.
Right.
Like a lot of these quarterbacks that are young will break more. So that's my problem.
Right,
Like they
because
need to.
because the game has changed too. So it's hard to even compare, like, oh, somebody in the '90s
Yes.
didn't get in versus somebody now. Because I mean, the game is
It's so much different. So you have
completely
to.
different. So
You either got to do a wait or y'all got to do like decade Hall of Fames and then
Right, I
greatest of
agree.
all
I like
time,
that.
where you
I like
have
that idea,
and those
yeah.
greatest of
Right.
all time they move down. You could never move from
Right.
down up.
right,
But if you come
realistically,
in like
it should
when
be right. It should
like
be
when Tom
votable
Brady
and it should
comes
be
in,
interchangeable.
yeah, if you say you
Right.
have 3 quarterbacks and there's 3 in there now, one of them motherfuckers goes down.
One of them drops out.
They
Whoever the
drop down
longest
to
twin or
whatever era
right.
they should be in, whether it's
Right.
the 2000s, the 2000, or if you want to go running era, so you could have
Right.
passing era. Like I don't give a fuck, however you want to do it.
Right. It really should just be when the game changed from,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
'cause
saying,
it's-
from running 80 times a game to now you throw it 80 times a game.
And then
The
I mean
game
we're
is
not
completely-
we're not even gonna get on people like Cliff Branch, which by the way he's only not in the Hall of Fame because the NFL hated Al Davis. Like
Right.
did anybody besides me watch that watch the ESPN 30
No.
for
I
30?
watched, but
No.
I need to rewatch it.
That shit is
I'm
good.
saying I gotta check it. I gotta check it out.
That is really good. It is really good. I learned a
And
lot
Cliff-
about Al
And
Davis.
Cliff Branch's Hall of Fame ballot came up when Al Davis was suing the NFL.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
Right.
And again,
So
like
that
I
makes-
said,
a lot of
once
it is politics. Yeah.
you have a problem with a guy like him, which he should be in the Hall of Fame. But
Right.
you look back and you go, well, now in the 2000s, his numbers don't look that great.
Right.
But if you let Edelman in, you got to let him in.
But Cliff Branch has better numbers than Edelman.
I know that. I already said that.
At a time where they didn't pass it.
At a time when it was not air raid.
Not even that. At a time where they could fucking kill you.
Right. And you were throwing it maybe 8 to 10 times a game.
You're
like,
throwing
dudes'
it
stats are really
over the
right.
middle
Dudes were
and
like
dying.
6 for 8. Dudes went like 6 for 8 with 45 yards. Like that was passing stats.
I saw
Back in
people's
the day.
soul get lifted up from hits,
Right.
those old ass hits.
Facts. Because if you remember, that was before like you can even get kicked out for targeting.
Exactly.
So
Remember
coaches
that?
would teach
That was
it.
way before that.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
was
Was
when
70
over the
coaches
middle
would
was
Branch-
dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, because
Coaches would
Branch
teach
was
it, bro.
in was a Raider
Just hit
from
him.
72 to 85.
Yeah, that was when
Right.
going over the middle and catching a pass over the middle was considered the most dangerous play in the NFL.
Right. And nobody was trying to do that.
No, fuck
Yeah.
no. So okay, my
So,
vote.
yeah.
He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a really good player, not a Hall of Famer. When you have
Right. He's a great great
you have an
story,
all-time. He's a
hard
great
worker.
Patriot,
Facts.
and he should
Right.
be in the Patriot Hall of Fame. But
Right.
when you have
And he's right.
that quarterback, the GOAT, you got to produce more than that.
Right. No questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with him being a great Patriot. I wouldn't say he's a great
Right.
NFL receiver because I mean he was just average.
Yeah, he's an average receiver, but he's a great Patriot. Yeah, he's a great Patriot. He's an average receiver.
Right.
Yeah.
He was great for them. Like
Yeah.
for their, like he's probably one of the greatest receivers in Patriot organization history. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
I'm picking a top 3, like he's in the top 3 Patriot receivers. You know what I'm
But
saying?
who
But
the
definitely
fuck do the Patriots
right.
ever
That's
have?
what I said. I'd put Randy.
Shit, Randy Moss is
Right.
one.
They got-
And he played
hey,
a
they-
season and a half.
They took linebacker Bobby Boucher and put him at wide receiver, and he's still in the
Right.
top 3.
Exactly.
Right.
So
So to segue into that, do you guys think that the Patriots trade up and get somebody,
Yes.
or do you think they So that's what I'm thinking.
but I think it depends on how the draft falls.
Right, how it starts.
How it falls.
Right.
Yeah, how it plays out in the top 5, 10. If
Right.
by time they get to 8, if there's Trey Lance on the board, I do not think they trade up.
Nope, they'll wait
Because
because
then
there's some other
it's just-
dudes
yeah.
after him.
Costs too
Right.
much.
Right, and there's a couple dudes after him that they can grab late.
Exactly. Like Kyle Trask
third
and
right, Kyle Trask.
I can't think of the
guy
other
from
fucking
A&M.
kid. Yeah.
The guy from A&M, I think.
Yeah,
his
that
name is
guy, hold on.
Kellen Mond. So there's dude right. So
I
there's
need you to
definitely
be
dudes.
And
There's
stop.
definitely dudes that they could develop. And shit, they got Stidham and Newton on the roster right now. I think that's the only 2. So
Yeah,
I definitely see them moving up.
Go, Quentin.
Kansas.
Right. So I definitely see them trying to move up, but like we said, yeah, like depending on how it falls. But I've seen it's interesting the mock draft. Like like I try not to even look at them anymore because I just feel like dudes just pick. Like I've seen so many different ones, and it's like, number one, it seems like it's set. Nobody's has ever changed. But then after that, it's always been like dudes just kind of throwing shit in, and it's like, you can't really put too much weight on the mock drafts.
No,
And then the Dolphins and 49ers trade package just completely threw another wrench into it.
Right. But I think that just shows us that the Dolphins are going to take like an offensive weapon. Like I see them taking like the dude from Alabama, the receiver. I see them taking maybe Kyle Pitts. I mean, that'd be pretty high to take the tight end. But honestly, I see them adding something like that. But they really, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They have a lot of needs, in my opinion. They need offensive line. They need weapons. So who knows where they go? You know what I mean? Like that early. That's going to be interesting. But I feel like the 49ers and Jets will make a mistake, like always. So hopefully it doesn't happen like that. But I see them making a mistake. 49ers and the Jets.
I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? Y'all gonna hear it here first, right now. I got insider information from when I was in the back, getting my mind right, and I was talking to myself. So right now, I'm telling y'all, the Niners are taking Justin Fields.
That's what I think too.
They're not taking Mac Jones. And I heard some really, really good like information today from like David Pollard, who's like one of the top draft people on ESPN. He literally said there's all this talk about Mac Jones fitting Kyle Shanahan's template because of who he's had. Because they had Matt Ryan, and then he had, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo. But the issue that you have is he was an offensive coordinator, so he didn't have a chance to pick any of that QB.
Right.
Like who wouldn't want that
weren't
job?
His guys.
He had Matt Schaub in the Texans, and the guy was like he ran a couple draws with them. And people forget before Jimmy G tore his ACL, he literally ran a lot more.
Yeah, he was mobile.
Like he literally hurt himself on a running play. Instead of going out of bounds where he shook against the Chiefs and tried to continue.
Even who was the backup for San Francisco this past season? Mullins?
Yeah.
Who was it? But they were running with that dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So
they
it doesn't
try to get mobile.
Feed them. It doesn't make sense. Come here, Kansas. It doesn't make sense for them to go and draft. First of all, it don't make sense to trade up 3 first-round draft picks for him. You only do that for people you think are like talent that's going to change your organization.
Like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. What they did with RG3 when they traded up because if RG3 didn't get hurt, like you trade up for people that you feel, and you give up that much shit, you better hit fucking now.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like you don't trade up for somebody who's just gonna like manage. You don't trade up for a game manager. You'll get a fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know what I'm saying, in the free agency. Like, you'll get a veteran. If you just are looking for a game manager because you feel like you have the other pieces, then you don't trade up for a game manager. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Mac Jones is a game manager. You don't trade up for that type of quarterback. When you can, like I said, you can find that in a bunch of veterans that don't have a job right now. And so you trade up if if something's going to change your culture. And that's what you like, you know what I'm saying? You don't trade up for a receiver. You don't trade up for a linebacker. You don't trade up for a running back. The only thing you trade up for is a franchise-changing quarterback. That's it.
Especially when you give up that many picks.
Right. And when you look at the pieces they have, if they had a electric explosive, like if they had like an explosive threat at quarterback, they would be pretty much a contender. Because, people were talking about Watson going there. And it's like, why the fuck would they go from Watson to Mac Jones? Like, you don't like they were really talking about Watson going to San Francisco. But I think before all this other stuff happened with him, who knows? Like, that's a whole other story. But that's what I was looking at too. If they're interested in Watson, they're not interested in Mac Jones. They were interested in Wilson, and they did their due diligence. Why? Because he's mobile. Mm-hmm. He's able to like extend the play on his own. So that's kind of what they need in San Francisco. With the speed that they have at receiver, they need somebody that can extend the play bang the deep one, like improvise. Like that's kind of what they're like. They're almost going for like Kansas City style
Yep.
of like improvisation, like on offense, and that's kind of what. You know what I
Also,
mean?
when I was watching the pro day, because I went through and I know shit about these quarterbacks because I don't watch much college football. So I literally went
Right.
to and was YouTubing because I don't do shit at work all day.
Right. That's a good
So
idea, though.
I YouTube the whole in Kansas. Come here. The whole entire, like every throw from every fucking game for like Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Justin Fields. They're like an hour and 20-minute videos, and I watched them. And I'm telling y'all right now, if you put Justin Fields on Alabama,
Right.
numbers are ridiculous. If you
Right.
put Zach Wilson on Alabama, numbers are ridiculous. If you switch Mac Jones to either one of those teams, totally different story.
Right.
Ohio
He doesn't
State,
start. He doesn't start at Ohio State.
Ohio State
I'm
is not in
sorry.
the championship game. They're not.
Right, and he doesn't start. He doesn't start. If he goes to Ohio State, he doesn't even start as a senior.
So I don't understand how he went, and I think there's an issue. I think there's a lot of bias going on here with the way
For sure.
that people are drafting. Okay, I think one reason why Mac Jones and Zach Wilson jumped up so much is Josh Allen with Zach Wilson. I think Allen's productivity in the NFL and the way he's been playing, what Joe Burrow was kind of doing, but I think that kind of escalated Zach Wilson. With Mac Jones, also his play was extremely well. With Mac Jones, I literally think we saw a flat-footed old man win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And he's doing that at 43.
He looks 28.
Why can't we get that? He's been
Right.
playing since he was forever. Most of these running quarterbacks are going to get hit, and we all know they're going to get hurt at some point in time. But you saw that. You saw Drew Brees. You look at, and I just, in my mind, it's like, okay, that's what they're looking at. Like, that's some of it. I literally think a lot of it has to do with, in some aspects, the NFL and the owners and the coaches are tired of seeing all the black people running around being quarterback.
Right.
Like, you literally look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL outside of Brady. Most of them are black, and there has never been that in the history of the NFL before. Not saying that's it, but my mind process goes to certain things like that. Like, how did you slip going from the second best quarterback to the 5th?
Right.
When you literally were in the championship. So, I think the Niners are going to take Justin Fields. I think if the Niners take Justin Fields, I think Mac Jones falls. And I don't even think the Patriots have to trade up. So I think the Niners take Justin Fields. If the Niners take Justin Fields, Mac Jones falls to the Patriots. Patriots don't have to trade up to get a quarterback.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Right. And
now,
saying that.
If the Niners take Mac Jones, all hell is going to break out for that 4th pick.
Right.
Because I think a lot of teams could move up for Justin Fields. Denver.
Right.
The Patriots. But they'd have to go... Like, if they don't take him, Justin Fields literally is falling probably to the 9th pick with Denver.
Right.
So, Patriots would have to get to the 8th pick with the Panthers.
Right.
I just don't see them. I don't see them doing that.
I don't see it happening. And I don't think they have the pieces to even give up. They'd have to give up a lot of draft capital. That's really all that they have is future draft capital at that. So it's rough out there for them. That's why I'm like, I don't really see, like you said, I think they probably will end up just slow playing it, ride it out with Cam, and then, you know what I'm saying, just kind of see what happens from there. But I don't know, like, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, it's going to matter what happens at 2 and 3.
Oh, well, 2 is Zach Wilson. I'm sold on. I'm 100% sold on Zach Wilson.
Right, and that's such a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go on a record now and say that's a mistake.
It's okay. Stop it. Stop it right now. Let them pick Zach Wilson. We don't want Justin Fields with the Jets.
Right.
We don't want his career to end. Stop it.
Very good point.
Stop it. No, let them make that mistake. Justin Fields could go play with the Niners. We want electrifying people being on electrifying teams so we can see them play. Fucking see Justin Fields with the Jets. Fucking a repeat of Geno Smith? No. Stop that shit.
Way. In the room with Adam Gase? Absolutely not. Or whoever the hell is over there.
Well, now it's Robert Saleh from the Niners.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But still, it takes a while for that culture to change.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, they're still going to suck.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, though, I think the best two quarterbacks, if we look at this back in a couple years, I think it's going to be Justin Fields and Trey Lance. I think if we look at it when it's all said and done, if Trey Lance goes to the right situation, like say he gets to go to like Pittsburgh, like if Pittsburgh can steal Trey Lance late, like a second round, if he happens to fall that far, I'm not sure if he will, but if he can go there where he doesn't have to be the man right now, then I think he's going to get a chance to develop because that kid is a stud. Like he was at a D1 school before he went down to North Dakota State. So
there's a lot of teams I think he'll do good at because like right now you have that generation of like the older, like I wouldn't even say Tampa, but Tampa.
Right.
Let's say he falls to 32.
Right.
He would do amazing with Tampa.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So like I think he would do great with a lot of teams.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Okay. I have a hard feeling, a very, very big gut feeling that I don't remember the draft year, but does everybody remember Jake Lockyer and EJ Manuel?
Of course.
Okay. What year were they drafted in and Christian Ponder?
Ooh. Was that 06? 07?
That the 2011 draft.
Oh, okay, 11.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
So
that was the year of the bust, wasn't it?
All of them.
Right. I think all 5 are out the league.
All of them are out the league.
Because that was the year it was 5 in the top 15.
So you had Cam Newton, and then you had Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder.
Right. EJ Manuel went.
Yeah, Manuel went somewhere in here, which I can't. Yeah, so I mean, but that was like the last time that you had this many quarterbacks go in this type of a draft. Andy Dalton went in the 35th pick. Colin Kaepernick was in that draft.
Right. Cap was slept on too.
Yep.
Very, because he went to Nevada.
Yep.
So people didn't know about him. People had no idea.
Yeah, so it's just like, and I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen because, like, again, I don't know because I don't watch it. But there's no way all 4 of them are going to be good. All 5 of them are going to be good.
So listen, I'll tell you this just based off of because I watch college football probably more than any other sport. Like it's probably the number one sport that I watch over NFL, over NBA, over everything. Like I was watching Jackson State versus Alcorn
HBCU
State the other day. Like I watched literally when the NCAA tournament was on, they had FCS football on. I tweeted that I was literally watching. I was like, y'all are gonna make me watch FCS football over the NCAA tournament. Like that's just how weird I am. Like I'm watching FCS football, checking the box score on the on the NCAA tournament. Like that's how I am. So you know what I'm saying. So I watched a lot. So I'll say this. I think Trevor Lawrence is obviously a safe, but I think he's peaked. Like I don't think he'll get much better. So it's not terrible, but I just don't see him improving. And it's nothing against him. Like he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good, but I just don't see him improving. Crazy. Sorry. So yeah, okay. So I think Trevor will just kind of stay. I think that's a safe pick. You know, it'll be kind of mediocre. It'll be like a little bit worse than Joe Burrow. Like that's kind of how I see him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's gonna get any better. Same thing with Joe Burrow. I feel like he's peaked as well because that dude's old, man. He's older than Lamar Jackson. So, you know what I mean? So like those kind of dudes have peaked. And Zach, like we said, is just gonna fall into a tough situation for him. And he needed to go somewhere where he could develop too. And it's going to be tough what they're asking him to do. If in my opinion, he should have bombed his pro day and fell a little bit. And then, right. He shouldn't have thrown that.
You know the pass that had everybody tripping.
Right. And it was definitely pretty. You know what I'm saying? As a quarterback coach, it was pretty. But
it was pretty for a pro day pass.
Right, but I'm not going to say it's uncommon.
No, it's not. I saw somebody put up a video of like 30 quarterbacks doing that shit. Yeah.
Right, and y'all have been out the park.
Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah.
Right. We're rolling out and we're throwing across the
Yeah.
body too. So it's not. I mean, that's the Mahomes effect. That's kind of the effect that he's had on everybody. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Is those kind of throws are a lot more popular.
Yeah.
But nah. So, but I think, yeah, man, that's going to be really interesting to see how it falls into place.
I think whoever the Niners take, as long as it's not Mac Jones,
Right.
I think that they're going to be the best quarterback in this draft. And just
Right.
because they have the ability to be on a team that should be good.
Right.
They won 7 games last year with Nick
like
Mullins.
3 different, right.
Exactly.
With like a couple
So
different dudes.
also that guy's probably not starting right away.
Right.
Because they still want to see what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo because of their contract. So they'll have a chance to sit for a year, but he's still
Right.
on a very
That's a good
talented
point.
team with an offensive-minded head coach in Kyle Shanahan. So, I
Right.
mean, I think that as long as it's not Mac Jones, I'm not saying that Mac Jones is bad. The problem that's going to happen is if Mac Jones gets drafted, they're going to say that he's such a fit in the system that they're literally going to force him to start over Jimmy Garoppolo as soon as Jimmy
Right.
Garoppolo tweaks the ankle or has any issues.
Or anything,
And
right.
I'm not saying that he's not good, but Kyle Shanahan had nightmares seeing his overthrow at the pro day. Kyle
Bro, did you
Shanahan
guys-
literally, his eyes lit up and all he saw was Jimmy Garoppolo missing fucking Emmanuel Sanders.
Right. And I'm not going to put, and you guys know, obviously, you can't put a lot of stock into those pro days.
No,
but
because
you
they're scripted.
can. But you can, as a quarterback coach, you guys have been to my workouts. Like, you can. If a dude is, like, if you're missed, like, come on, man. And you know those receivers. It's not like the combine where you're just throwing the, like, wide receiver number 8 because he's up in line. Like,
And
you're
these are the
throwing to
plays
your
that
dudes,
you
like,
picked. This is
right,
scripted.
plays that you picked.
Yes.
Dudes that you threw to yesterday. Like, you were throwing to these dudes all month, all year. So
You had a
that's
guy
the part.
come out that wasn't even doing a pro day that is one of
Right.
the top 10 receivers just to catch your
Right,
passes.
just to catch for you. And that's what I'm saying. So that's when I'm like, listen, and this is what I always tell my quarterbacks. When we're throwing against air, the way I judge you and the way I want you to judge yourself is placement consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, how, like, you know what I'm saying? How consistent are you with your ball placement? Is one up here, one in the dirt, one's behind? Like, we need to do those 3 again because you, like, that's not consistent placement. So that's what that's what I'm judging. Everybody's like, oh, well, there's no defense. And so there's no rush. I get that. But the part that we're judging on is placement consistency. Against air, that's the only way you can judge it because there's no coverage. But that's the point of that. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like studying. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, obviously, it's not in the same situation as the test, but it's still beneficial.
Yep.
So,
I know,
so
that
that's what
makes
I say,
sense.
like,
That makes
right,
a lot.
he
I'm just
missed,
also
like,
not
8
drafting an Alabama quarterback. Fuck them. They suck
No,
in the NFL.
and he missed like 8 or 9 passes.
That's
And
what
it's
I'm
funny
saying.
Right. And it's funny how when you make a lot of good throws, they're like, oh, you can't judge it. But then when he misses the throws, they're like, oh, it's just like, oh.
And then they'll say, oh, well, look at the game. He gets his
Right.
progression and reads fast. Look,
Right.
I'm not saying that he gets through them a lot faster than other people. All I know, or less faster, I just know depends on what your your coaches design you to read through.
Right.
Like,
It's different in each system.
Exactly. If you are literally a drop back quarterback, that's all the fuck you're caring about is going through your
Right.
reads. All of your plays are designed for you to go wah wah wah
And
wah
then
or
another-
wah 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 wah.
Right. And then another thing that's funny is the narrative about Fields. Is people are like, oh, like he's not that athletic and like he doesn't go through his reads. That was the design at Ohio State. Like, you know, so like you said, you're playing to the design of the system.
Exactly.
It's not like you're like, oh shit, I'm trying to get up the draft board, so fuck what you talking about, coach. I'm going through my reads. I'm going through like, nah, bro. Like Justin Fields wasn't a runner because he was the only quarterback. Like if he went down, we like, you know what I'm saying? The team was screwed. So the coaches are telling him like,
stop running.
Protect yourself.
Yep.
Right. Don't even run. Don't even think about
Look
running.
for your spots.
Throw it
Make
away.
sure you
Right.
slide.
Right. Throw it away.
Yep.
Throw it away if you do run, slide, protect yourself. And then the same thing with the reads. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all you can do is do what you're designed and what you're practiced to do. And that has nothing to do with your potential. It has nothing to do with how good you are. Same thing, and this is my other perfect example. Justin Herbert, for instance, right? When he was at Oregon, during the season, he didn't run the ball at all. When they got to the bowl game, I think he like led the team in rushing, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, how come he can run?" Because they took the reins off. Like he's a senior, like it's his last game. Like they're gonna let him like. You know what I'm saying?
Do what
They're
he
gonna
wants to
let
do.
him. They're right. Like go ahead and run if it's there because you're not here next year. Like you're not. There's no.
Everything
other
else
game
is
tomorrow.
designed for what the coaches want, not what the kids want in college.
Right. So it's right. It has nothing to do with the kids. Like it's all about what the coach is installing. And if you don't abide to the system,
there's somebody
you're
behind
on the bench.
you. Yep.
Right. You're gonna go to the bench. And if they're telling you read it this way, then you read it that way. And that just shows that you're coachable. That has nothing to do with you. That's not a knock on you as a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they showed another interesting stat too, like percentages on screen passes. And I thought that was relevant because like Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, I believe, led the country. It was like or actually it might have been Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence led the country in screen passes, like in percentages on screen passes. So that factors into it too. Like you're getting a lot of free yards from just dumping the ball off. So it's like, okay, your stats are going to be inflated because you're fucking throwing a screen pass to the Heisman Trophy winner. Well, like, same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Like you're throwing a screen pass to multiple NFL guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're fitting your system. It has nothing to do with you. It's not saying you can't throw it deep, but you're reading the system. Like you're
throwing it to guys that are
system.
consistently open, that consistently know how to beat their man. Consistently, you're not throwing guys open. You're throwing to open guys.
Open guys.
That's all. Yes, you may make some. And like I said, I went through and watched every throw, and I was like, look, he makes good throws, but you can see it. He's not throwing. And even on open guys, his ball placement is not where it should be most of the time. You just have very, very, very athletic and very good wide receivers that make it easy.
Right. Like, for instance, they're saying that the other receiver from Bama is better than the dude that won the Heisman. Like, they're saying Jalen Waddle is better NFL prospect than the dude that won. And it's like, and then you got a running back in Najee Harris who's a first, like,
they had they have 2 or 3 receivers, an offensive lineman, and a running back that's probably going to be in the first round.
Right.
I'm telling you, I name another good Alabama quarterback in the NFL.
I'll wait.
Go ahead.
I'll wait.
Jeremy, you want to look
honestly,
that up?
Honestly, it's the same with Ohio State. I mean, if we're being realistic, like they haven't had a good track record either of, you know what I'm saying, of putting those quarterbacks out.
I agree with you.
Am I looking up?
For sure.
The last good Alabama NFL quarterback. I do. I agree with you. But I also think a lot of that has to do with the way the NFL is changing. Ohio State
has always been mobile.
That's what I'm saying. For a minute, have always had mobile quarterbers, and when they got to the NFL, they were like, go to receiver.
Right.
Go Terrell Pryor, go to receiver.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah. So that's what I'm. So those are, and we saw that with tons. So now in this NFL, it's just different. Right. Alabama's always had the same quarterback.
Right. Like
they've always had the clean-cut white dude that stays in the pocket.
Right.
And they always get drafted. And none of them do
Terrell
shit.
Pryor was in the draft, like he'd probably be the number 1 pick.
This is the issue. Like, okay, Mac Jones played 1 good season and a good season last year. I mean, when he came in for Tua, but we literally right now have 3 quarterbacks that are going to be drafted that next year will have played for Alabama in the last 4 years.
Right.
And Jalen, Tua, and fucking Mac Jones. Like, we could have 3 starting quarterbacks.
Right.
Why?
No, and none of them.
Why?
None of them will be and none of them will be starters in 3 years.
It almost seems like when back in the early 2000s, where USC was supposedly the QB factory, and they were putting out QBs like and John Booty got drafted, and all these other Mark Sanchez, Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart.
Oh my God!
So there's only really 3, and one of them you could say shouldn't even be.
Who's one?
You got Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, and AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron don't even fucking count. Get the fucking shit out of here. If y'all get the shit out of here. Fucking AJ McCarron was a backup on 4 different teams, and when he got a chance to start, he got
all the way
injured.
back to Joe Namath or Ken Stabler.
And AJ McCarron is known better. Joe Namath is more known for kissing AJ McCarron's girlfriend than AJ McCarron.
And if we're being honest, if Jalen Hurts doesn't go to Oklahoma, he's probably playing running back right
Yep,
now.
yep.
If he, you know what I'm saying?
Or receiver,
If he finishes his career at Alabama, Jalen Hurts is probably a running back, H-back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's probably, like, when he went to Oklahoma, they really developed him as a passer.
Yep.
Like, that was
they
his,
really
like,
did.
because he
They
grad
really did.
transferred. You know what I'm saying? Because he
Mhm.
grad transferred from Bama to Oklahoma, and then I think he almost won the Heisman. So,
Yeah,
like,
because he got a spot taken by Tua.
right.
Because remember,
Right.
he won a national championship, and he was the big
Right.
shit as a freshman.
Right.
And
Right.
then
Because-
Tua came in.
Right, because he got hurt.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, that was wild.
Yep.
So then he grad transferred to Oklahoma, and then, you know, that's like the QB factory. That
Of course.
fucking place is
Everybody.
That's
Kyler,
crazy.
Baker.
right. And even
Jalen.
if you go back to like Sam Bradford,
I
like,
was saying that was the name I was coming up. I hate that
they've been
fucker.
pumping them dudes. I can't stand it. I can't stand Oklahoma.
The
or
last
any of their-
quarterback that got the last draft pick. Well, he was the last draft pick that got paid. Yeah, because they changed it like right after him. Where they rookie slotted it right after him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was the last first round draft to get paid.
He's a bank robber.
Yeah, that's back when you knew who the picks were. Like, by the time we got to the draft day, we knew who the first 6 picks were.
Right. That's bad.
They'd already basically signed them and everything.
Right. Niggas got their bonus and everything. And the Rolex and the chain on it.
So, since we're talking about the Jets, and we all think they messed up.
Right.
I think they messed up way before they even pick a draft. I don't think they should have traded Sam Darnold.
No, I forgot about that, bro.
That's
been overshadowed. That's a mistake.
I'm not saying Sam, and I always have to clarify this because people have this idea that Sam Darnold's horrible. And I'm not saying he's going to be good, but he is 23.
Right.
He is the same age as some of these QBs coming out in the draft. Like, I think Kyle Trask is the same age as him. Like, they're literally, he has played under the worst NFL head coach in the history of fucking football. Like, I don't even need stats. Just from my eye test.
Right.
I've never seen any coach as bad as him. And
look at what happened to Tannehill, right? Like, Tannehill was under Gase and then leaves Gase.
Yeah, but I mean, motherfucker, almost anybody can play quarterback with Derrick Henry.
Right.
Like,
I mean, but still though, to get paid, like, you know what I'm saying? He got paid.
Yeah,
so,
he got paid.
So,
he got paid, and he's a lot better than what we thought he was.
Right. That's what I mean. Like,
but even then, Tannehill sucked in Miami because Gase sucked.
Right.
So you traded Sam Darnold, who was a 3rd-round pick 4 years ago. He was a first-round pick, but he was a third overall pick. My bad. 3rd overall pick for like 3 picks because you didn't win his 18. Why would you have not traded? Like, did what Miami did? Miami literally went from the 3rd pick to the 12th to the 6th.
Right.
And still got 2 of the, like,
they've been smart, bro. Miami has been smart lately. They have, like, and I hate to say it, like, they've had a change over, like, they changed drastically.
You know what happened?
Too, because
Adam Gase fucking left.
Right.
It took them a little bit. It took a year to get that stench off of them. But they went from shitty to last year being good. That was a year after Adam Gase was removed, so that stench had worn off of them.
It takes a minute.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
Dog, but no, like, the Sam Darnold, like, I feel bad for him, but like I said, it's a blessing in disguise for him because he's setting himself up to get paid. Because what's going to happen, you know what I'm saying? What's going to happen is if he balls out in Carolina, their hands are going to be tied. Like, he's going to, like, either he's going to end up walking and getting the, like, because he's on the last year of his rookie deal, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Or
he's got one more. So this is his 4th year, and they picked up his 5th year option. So he gets paid $18 million next year.
Right.
In 2 seasons, no matter what. So he's got 2 years.
Right. So he's going to get paid. So he's setting himself up. Right. So he's setting himself up for success. I mean, so that's more motivation in itself. But him going to Carolina, I can't believe, man. Like, when I saw that, I didn't even think about that as a possibility. Like that trade didn't even cross my mind. I wasn't even thinking.
Why?
But
They
when I
thought they
saw
found
that,
their
I'm
guy
like,
last year with Teddy Bridgewater.
right. I'm like, nah. I'm like, Carolina got better instantly when they got Sam Darnold, bro. They got better. And not to say, like you said, he's not blow the socks off amazing, but I feel like you said he's young and in the right situation. Like he's got flashes, bro, for sure.
He's not going to have to be blow your socks amazing with CMC
Right.
coming back.
Right.
Having that
exactly.
running back and that wide receiver core that they have with
Right.
Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Right.
I mean, Olsen's gone, but
Right.
he
Right.
doesn't have to be amazing, and we don't even know what's going to happen in that division.
Right.
Like, we know Tampa's going to be good.
Right.
But we don't know what's going to happen in that division, so he doesn't even have to be blow your sock amazing. He could be Ryan
Right.
Tannehill.
Right.
And not saying that he's
Just
bad,
don't
but a
just
slightly
don't be
above average
Bridgewater.
quarterback, and they'll be very good.
And just don't be Bridgewater. And
Just don't be
right.
Bridgewater, yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like Sam Darnold's he got lucky because he could have got the Josh Rosen treatment.
Right. Facts.
He could have got that treatment, so he did. But when I saw that trade, I was like, oh, the Jets still are being the Jets. Okay, Adam Gase still has some control.
And that's another example of like how where Josh Rosen didn't fit. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's not your guy, like he's not your guy, like you got to get rid of him.
Well, they also got Kyler Murray. I don't think if they wouldn't have gotten Kyler Murray, they would. Yeah.
Right.
But again, you can't.
Right. He doesn't fit. He never fit what Kingsbury was trying to do. Like that's what. Like he.
Oh, you're 100% right. Yeah.
He didn't fit that system, and that's the same thing we were talking about with Shanahan. Like he like you know what I'm saying? He didn't fit your system, so it's pointless to fucking have a separate package like a Josh Rosen package, and then I got my real shit. Like that's the worst shit in the world. You know what I'm saying? When coaches do that, like
yeah, but
I hate that.
I think Sam Darnold's going to do good. I think the Jets were fucking stupid.
Right.
I don't think not even good picks.
Nope.
Like not like
right.
You better be damn motherfucking sure
and
Zach
with your
Wilson
track record,
is your guy. Because
what
Robert Saleh and whoever the fuck is the GM over there, y'all gonna be fired in 2 years. Because the Jets fire motherfuckers like no tomorrow.
Right. The seat is hot.
Them motherfuckers will turn. They don't give you a chance to get used to the seat.
Especially with that media, like the way, like you'll have a New York fucking headline, like bro.
I think tomorrow, what's their longest tenure coach? Like Rex Ryan, and in like the last 20, and they fired him like 2 years after he went to the AFC Championship. Like, they will fire your ass in a heartbeat. So if Zach Wilson turns out to be shit, and Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts or Waddles or Smith turn out to be really good.
Right.
You gave up 3 first-round draft picks because that's what the fuck the Dolphins got, and possibly a Hall of Fame skill position player for a bust.
Like I said, and we'll be right back here again
in 2 years, going through this shit again.
Doing the same shit, bro.
The same fucking shit.
And with their track record, with their like company, I'm just gonna call them a company. Like I'm not even gonna call them a football team. Like with their fucking company's track record, like, oh, it's bad over there.
Their division's getting tougher.
Right.
So at least it's not like the Jaguars division where you could suck for another 2 years.
Right.
Because you don't know what's happening with Houston. You don't know what's happening with the Colts.
Eagles division or some shit where you can be 5 wins and make the playoffs now.
You literally might have 3 playoff teams next year, depending on how well Cam Newton and the Patriots do. And you could have that. You could start off right there with 6 fucking losses.
Right.
Like you don't even play, and you're 0-6 before the schedule starts, and there's 17 fucking games.
Right.
Y'all motherfuckers better hope to God Zach Wilson is your savior.
Right.
And you better hope that BYU boy can deal with that New York media.
Right. That's another thing.
Because I know a lot of the rules and regulations at BYU, and that doesn't happen in New York.
Bro, they're ruthless.
And BYU is completely opposite, where they're not ruthless. They're completely like, you have to have mission, you can't have sex unless you're married type of shit. Like
they'll probably boo him on draft night. Like he'll probably get booed.
Yeah.
Bro. Like they'll pick him and he'll probably get booed by New York fans.
Yep.
Like that's how they are.
Yep.
Like
and he better not fuck up. But I mean, if they wanted to pick him, they had to trade Darnold.
Right.
Because if he fucked up, then they would be calling for Darnold's name.
Right. I mean, and that would just be counterproductive to have both of them. I get that. Try to get what you can for Sam. Like
But you
I
ain't get
totally get
shit.
that. But right, exactly.
Motherfuckers, you ain't get shit, okay?
Right.
Look,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, Jeremy, was it a second or a third or fourth? It was a third, a fourth, and a sixth, right?
It was a
Something
third
like that.
this
Yeah,
year.
I think so.
Yeah, it was a third this year, and then a fourth and a sixth
Next year.
next year, something like that. Something like that.
No, it was. I think it was a second this year, and then a fourth and a sixth next year.
And a sixth next year.
Because essentially, what they get out of it is a second this year and a sixth next year. Because I think the fourth cancels out with something else they did.
Right.
No, they got a 6th round pick in 2021 and a second and a fourth in 2022.
Shut up.
I'm not joking you. Their pick this draft is 226 plus the 2nd and 4th round selections in the 2022 draft.
So that would be from
the Panthers.
So like who's picked? Oh no, yo, that's
we
crazy.
had the round right, just the wrong years.
Right,
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
So let's just.
They
let's
only
just
really
start
ended
off,
up
okay?
with. I think they only ended up with like one actual pick because one or
Right.
two of them actually canceled out from something they did previous.
Where they traded, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's disgusting.
So the New York Jets have 10 picks in the 2021 draft.
Right.
And they're gonna fuck all that shit up.
Oh,
like 100%. Let's just be real, okay? If you have a 6th round draft pick, there's not many that make impacts in the league. There are a few.
You're not getting like instant fucking production. At least that we know. But like if you do, it's a shock.
Exactly. And
like,
there's a couple of them that you have where it works.
Right.
But a lot of
But
times it takes some time to develop and a lot of
Right.
different things. A 4th round pick. Yeah. Maybe you got probably a 25% chance that it's going to be an everyday player on your team.
Right.
Depending on the position you pick, maybe 35 to 40, but maybe star. And then your 2nd round, you're the Jets. You're going to fuck it up.
Right.
So, like, your 2nd round, you have a better chance of that being a very good player.
But that's still not even right. And that's still not, I mean.
And it also.
Right.
I mean, you can name certain people. Like, if you get a wide receiver, you could get DK Metcalf.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
I mean,
but you could also get Mecole Hardman.
Right. But for what you're gambling is what I'm saying. Like, you're really gambling right now. Like, you're fucking hoping. You're hoping that you get a good position from those picks that you got. Like, so that's for one. I mean, because if the team that you traded is successful, then you're really like you're fucking picking at the end of the 4th. You're picking at the end of the 6th. Like, then it's not helping you. So. Like, I don't know. That's interesting, bro. Versus having to pay him $18 million, and then
I
just
get
picking
paying
another
him $18 million because they might not have thought he was worth it. But this is my issue. Robert Saleh's like, we like this guy. How the fuck do you know about Darnold?
Right,
motherfucker. You ain't coached him. You ain't seen him in workouts. Y'all motherfuckers been on scouting trips.
So my thing is they should have ate that. Like, I feel like they should have kept it at least for one more year.
Yeah, I would have paid them for $18 million.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
It's
like,
not that bad of a contract in this market.
Nah, if you look at it, because remember we were just talking about it a couple shows ago, the backup quarterback market. Dudes are getting like 11. Million. Right. Dudes are getting 10, 11, 12. So when you look at it like that, it's like, and you're already mediocre. So say you pay him, you're shitty, then you don't pick up the 5th year. You know what I'm saying? Then you can just let him go, and then you just stack you save your draft capital. So that's why I'm like, I don't really get, like, I don't know. I don't get the logic. I'm not in the GM room, but that's crazy, bro.
I don't think they're in the GM room either. I think these motherfuckers are playing Madden.
Right.
I'm not even kidding. I think they put it in Madden trade and said, do we accept this? Yes, that sounds good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's green. Hey, it's green.
But they forgot. they had the Panthers giving it to them, and they put the Jets. So that's.
Right. But the Panthers instantly got better.
I agree.
Especially in their division too. Like that. That's crazy, bro. That's definitely better for them.
I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's a bad QB. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is just not the same as what he would have been if he never got injured.
Right.
And I think a lot of his injuries took away a lot of his confidence and him not being able to play consistently. and then being in a new team with the pandemic and all of that shit going.
Would I be wrong to say that he's the black Chad Pennington?
No, you would not at all.
Right. So that's like, I don't like, he's a weak, like he just doesn't have a strong enough arm. Like I've always felt like that. So like he's been Mr. Dink and Dunk, like Mr. 8 yards, Mr. 6 yards, Mr. 2 yards punt. Like that's been
which worked when he got drafted.
Right. It worked right.
But it changed significantly within that time.
When he got hurt. Right. Exactly. Then like you said, once he got hurt, he was never the same. But
no.
I just feel like I feel like he never developed as a passer. And I know that hurt him too. As far as like arm strength wise, I always felt like he was weak in that regard.
And like when quarterbacks are coming in and they're young, and this might just be my opinion, but if they don't have like the certain arm strength, they have to develop like other things for them so that way they can get past that. When they get injured early, it is very hard for them to develop any of that other stuff they needed because they got to get back to where they were first, and then they got to try to get better than what they were.
Right.
Like he's just,
and especially when your system is so shitty and like they're just like, hey, here you go, do what you got to do. Like same thing with RG3. Like they did that shit to him in Washington. They're just like, here's the ball, bro. Go ahead,
go do what you do.
Run around, do what you got to do.
You're only 110 pounds. Don't worry about it.
Right. Don't even trip.
Yep. I mean, I know he's not 110 pounds, but in the NFL, he's basically like 110 pounds.
He looked like it. Yeah,
don't worry about it. You just keep doing what you do.
Right. You'll be all right, bro.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah, that's okay. That lineman, he fell on you. Your leg hurts. Don't worry about it. Walk that shit off.
Right.
You're the fucking superstar.
Right.
If you quit, we all quit. Like that's the shit that I'm thinking about with that. Like,
right.
So yeah, I think Justin Fields needs to go. I think the Jets shouldn't have done Sam Darnold, and Edelman is not a fucking Hall of Famer.
Right. The Jets should have The Jets should have kept Sam, traded back. Because they could have got more, traded back, and got like Kyle Pitts. Like you could have fucking picked what draft spot you wanted. You know what I'm saying? You could have been like, all right, bro, we think Pitt's gonna fall to 7. We're gonna trade back from 2 to 7. We're gonna keep Sam. We're gonna give him a fucking beast at tight end. Let's see if that helps him. Give him this last year. If it doesn't help him, then see ya. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and even like I said, if you don't get Pitts, you still got one of them badass wide receivers.
Right. You get some, like that's what I'm saying. But you could have picked what spot you like. You could have picked what spot you wanted. Basically, you could have told any team, "Hey, we'll trade back with you if they're at 5."
Especially when you found out what the Niners got.
Right.
When you found out what the Niners got, you should have literally started calling teams behind the Niners. Like, hey. What are you going to give me for my pick?
Right. You trying to move up? Right.
Even if you didn't want to trade it just to do your due diligence.
Right.
So then maybe that changes your mind. Like, do we really want this prospect and we're giving up? Do we want to keep our tempo?
Right.
Or do we want to get the new Lamborghini and keep the car we have now but give up our fucking house?
Right.
Like those are the kind of decisions.
That's a great fucking that's a great analogy right there. For real.
That's like the situation they were in.
Right.
And exactly. You just gave up, you mortgaged everything.
Like I said, they had a lot of draft capital, so you could have added what you needed. O-line, running back, receiver, tight end. You could have built that shit. And then if it was really Darnold's fault, okay, then we're going to X you out after, and then we'll put that piece in, and now we're good to go. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And who knows who comes available with the way the QBs are these days?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could have picked up a backup, like you could have picked up a vet backup too behind Darnold, and then been decent and like Fitzpatrick kind of at least got you kind of by. Get second in your division, get third in your division, because like you said, your division's getting increasingly better. Even the Patriots had a down year, but
they still won 7 games.
And they got increasingly better instantly over the offseason. They made moves. And they fucking propelled themselves. Like, they're like, okay, we're not being mediocre no more. But the Jets are just like,
we're
suck. Good. Like, we're going to be mediocre. Like,
the Knicks are good this year. That's all that matters. Fuck it. Only one New York team can be good at a time unless it's the Yankees.
Like, just in the season already. That's what Jets stand for.
They're starting off 0-6.
Right.
So, also, to go back to the Niners real quick, I'm so sick of hearing this comparison. And I know... the Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. They're going to do the Alex Smith. Motherfucker, stop it. Stop it. Like, we've had multiple times where a quarterback has sat behind Another quarterback, and it's worked. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for a couple years. It worked.
Right.
Carson Palmer behind John Kitna, and it worked.
Tom Brady sat behind
Drew Brees, yeah, or Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe,
No,
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
right.
and then we had. So there's so many times that this happens. Can y'all please stop this bullshit? Like,
There's
Stop not just because you sit Mac Jones behind Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not going to change shit. He's not going to be able to throw 70 yards on a fucking dime. It's just not going to be able to change. That narrative is just so irritating because it's like, oh, well, he's the next Tom Brady, and if we sit him behind Jimmy Garoppolo, he'll be like Patrick Mahomes. Like, no, bitches. Y'all picking two people that are like outliers.
Right. I hate that shit.
Like, stop picking the outliers. Pick the average person.
Right.
Like, no, he'll be more like fucking Blaine Gabbert or fucking Blake Bortles or Gardner Minshew or Nick Foles.
There we go.
Or fucking...
Because even fucking Gardner Minshew sat behind.
That's what I'm saying.
Bortles, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, get the fuck out of here.
There's multiple...
Lamar Jackson sat behind
Joe Flacco.
Like,
Yeah.
get the fuck
Can
out of
y'all
here,
motherfucking
bro. Like,
stop. Like,
stop it.
Stop it right now. Let's please end this bullshit. Let's just like Phillip Rivers sat behind Drew Brees.
Right. Oh, Herbert was behind Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So,
but we're gonna pick this guy because this guy. Y'all need to fucking stop with this bias bullshit.
Oh, he's gonna be fucking Tom Brady because he sat.
Yeah, because he's sat behind him and because he fits the system and he's immobile and he doesn't have the strongest arm.
Right.
But he's smart. I'm so tired. I have never heard the term smart used so many fucking times when analyzing a football player than with Mac Jones. Like every other sentence is, he's smart. He picks up things very well.
Smart,
he progresses very well. He's got a high intelligence. The offensive coordinator said that he opened up the playbook for him before he did for anybody else. I'm like, how many motherfucking ways? We know he's fucking smart, goddammit. Shit, shut the fuck up.
Bro. He was like a 3-year backup.
He better be fucking smart.
You better know the playbook. You better know the whole playbook, bro. You've been here for 3 years. You practically wrote the playbook, bro. You've been here for so long.
You know who else sat behind somebody? Jacoby Brissett. You know who else sat behind somebody? Ryan Mallett. You know who else sat behind somebody? The same person you fucking getting rid of, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Y'all motherfuckers. Right. Yeah, I'm just so sick of that. It's got to be that. It's got to be.
Right.
It's just horrible. All right, so
that's right. The generalizations are crazy.
It's just all these motherfuckers are smart. They all play football. They're all getting drafted.
And Zach Wilson is Steve Young. You know what I'm saying?
Because he went to BYU.
Right.
Fucking, oh my God. And you know, Justin Fields isn't Lamar Jackson. Right. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
Justin Fields is
he might be Dwayne Haskins. Shut your motherfucking asses up.
He's Dwayne Haskins. He doesn't like practice. He doesn't like to work. He's Dwayne Haskins.
Exactly. He's a great athlete, but you know, he doesn't go through his progressions fast enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like football.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, like you know, he reminds me more of RG3. But after he got injured. Like,
hey, you know what the funniest thing was too? Was like when Dwayne Haskins was coming out and Stephen A. Smith was like, "Oh, you know, I view Dwayne as more of a runner than a passer." Like, bro, shut that's how you don't know what you're talking about. Like, shut your ass up, bro.
And I'm not
Dwayne Haskins had like 6 rushing attempts.
I'm not, and it's even exactly. But because he came from Ohio State and because he's black, you're like, and he's quick.
Oh, he's a runner, right? That guy's fast, man.
Stephen A., I love you and hate you so much. Like we have a love-hate relationship, and I don't even know you.
And Zach Wilson played for Nick Saban, so he's got to be good.
Well, Mac Jones, Jones.
Sorry, but Mac Jones played for Nick Saban, so
throughout all the histoy of how long Nick Saban's been winning. And how many good quarterbacks he's had? How long is Nick Saban?
It was all Mac Jones.
But he's got the best. He's got the best core ever. Mac Jones.
Right.
Best
Mac Jones quarterback he had.
Yeah.
Right. Mac Jones is the best quarterback Nick Saban's ever had.
Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
He won the national championship as a freshman and never lost his number 1 spot.
Right.
Never. It was never in comparison. From the moment he won the title, he was the number 1 pick when he came out of the draft.
Right.
But Justin
beat
Fields,
the shit out of Alabama.
Justin Fields fell down after beating him head to head with cracked ribs. And only playing 5 games in the season.
Oh, it's because he threw 2 interceptions against Indiana. That's why.
Yeah, you know.
You know what I mean?
And because he's only. I had heard somebody tell me.
Right.
Somebody told me.
He won the game, though. They won the game, but he threw 2 picks against Indiana, so.
I was arguing with somebody at like I forgot where I was at, but they told me they were like, no, Justin Fields, he's only played like 1 year. You can't. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're like, no. I'm like, he didn't play this year. I'm like, but that's because of the fucking pandemic. If it wasn't for the pandemic, he would have played. They're like, but no, but you got to compare him to the other quarterbacks. I'm like, you do realize he's played like the same amount of fucking games as Mac Jones.
Right, he played and he did.
Like they both played 17 fucking regular season games. Like
right, and they just only played like 7 games this year. They started late because of COVID.
Well, don't forget, Mac Jones didn't play his full like all of last year. It was fucking Tua.
No,
and then he got injured.
Right. He was on the bench.
Yes,
right.
But no, I hate the narratives.
All of a sudden, right?
Fucking all of a sudden, the draft narratives pull out the worst in motherfuckers. Like
all of a sudden,
I would hate to go through the draft process.
Right. It would be so annoying.
I like, can we just stop? Like, remember that these motherfuckers are still like young men that are still trying to do their job.
Right.
Like y'all dissected the fuck out of them, and what they say a lot of times. Oh, he doesn't progress well. He's not a hard worker. The only person they didn't say that about was Russell Wilson.
Right.
That's the only one.
Right.
I checked the tape. I did. He's a hybrid. Nobody knew how good Russell Wilson would be.
Check with yourself.
I checked with myself when I was getting my mind right.
Shit, because he was better at NC State than he was.
I know at Wisconsin.
He was killing shit.
But he didn't get noticed at NC State, so he went to Wisconsin.
Right.
But when he was coming back out, everybody was talking about his leadership. They voted him a captain, and the comparison was completely different. But you know why? That's because they knew that motherfucker wasn't a first round pick.
Right.
You know why they don't say that with Trey Lance? Because they know he's a developmental quarterback.
Right.
They're not saying Trey Lance will be good, but he needs some help. He needs some time. Point blank in the story. He just needs some time. Justin Fields probably can start day 1. I don't know about Mac Jones.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, Trey Lance could start day 1 just depending. I'm going to lay down. So, all right. We already been going an hour and 12 minutes. We'll go ahead. Y'all got anything else to say?
No, sir.
Hey.
Get out of here.
Try to see if you can get like a quarterback or a receiver on.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you for sure. We'll set it up for next Tuesday.
All right. With that, take us out, Jeremy.
Put me in, coach.
Peace. Later.